Hello everyone, this is Nivedita again from Midas, and today we are having a webinar on Midas nGen software solution for buildings and general structures. So let me firstly begin with a short introduction to Midas. And in today's webinar, we'll be looking at the company introduction, the introduction to Midas nGen software solution. We'll look at some of its application areas, its strengths, and we will basically see the strengths after the demonstration and during the demonstration. Then we will talk about some support services that are offered by Midas, and we'll have a conclusion after that, and the special price offer will be discussed by our marketing team with you. So we will be directly going to the questions after that. So if you're able to see the screen, please let me know, and also if you're able to hear me, you can raise your hand. And if you have got any questions during or after the session, you can write at the questions box. So let us begin now with the company introduction. Midas as a company was established in the year 1989 by POSCO Group of Industries, and since then the software solutions have got developed in more than 120 number of countries. Excuse me. Yeah, and further we are going to look over here. This is basically the headquarter of Midas, that is South Korea in Seoul, and we have all over the world 9 branches. So one is in China, USA, India, Japan, UK, Russia, Singapore, Philippines, and UAE. Midas has 2 main business areas. One is in engineering consultancy and the other is software development. So depending on the engineering consultancy, the softwares have been developed in the field of bridge, structures, geotechnical, and mechanical. Midas has 4 main family groups of software solutions. So I'll be in short describing each software solution offered by Midas. In the bridges segment, we have Midas Civil software solution that can perform the analysis and design of simple type of bridges to complicated bridges like extra-dose bridges, suspension bridges, cable stayed bridges, and it can provide us with a really good output in the form of Excel sheets and drawings. Then Midas FEA software solution. So Midas FEA is a finite element software for detailed analysis and for an advanced nonlinear analysis. Then coming to the structural field, Midas Gen and Midas nGen are the 2 software solutions. So Midas Gen software solution is the old one, and we have upgraded to Midas nGen recently, and that's what the webinar is about. Today we will see how Midas nGen would be more beneficial for us. Then the results from Midas Gen, basically Midas Gen can perform the analysis as well as design. So the design results from Gen can be taken into Midas D Shop that can perform the drawing generation. So that's Midas D Shop basically is Midas drawing software solution. And after that we have Midas Set and Midas Design Plus. So Midas Set is for British standards and Midas Design Plus is for Eurocodes and American code. Midas set and design phase basically are basically the software solution for performing the design of structural components like beams, columns, combined shear walls, footings, and so on. So that's about structural solutions. All these solutions are integrated with each other, so you can do the importing, exporting functions within them. Further, let's come to the geotechnical field. So in geotechnical, there is GTS-NX and SoilWorks. So GTS-NX is a 3D finite element geotechnical software solution, and SoilWorks is the 2D finite element as well as analytical geotechnical software solution. Coming to the mechanical field, there is Midas NFX and Midas FX Plus. I won't be discussing more about these two softwares, but we'll go ahead now to the structures part. So before we go ahead to the software solution, I'd like to showcase our partial list of users. These are our worldwide users. When it comes to Africa, so these are a few of our users that enlisted right over here. So in these companies, either of the Midas software solutions are being used, like Midas Gen or Midas Civil or Midas GTS NX. That means our structural, bridge, or geotechnical software solutions. But these are our Midas users. Let's go ahead to the Midas nGen introduction now. So Midas nGen is the next generation solution for building analysis as well as design. That is, understand, basically Midas nGen consists of the analysis tool, the design tool, as well as the drafting tool. So it's a one-stop solution for buildings and general structures. All right, so basically we start with the architectural drawings, and it is integrated in Midas engine software. We can create model easily using those drawings, and after that we can perform the analysis. So there are a lot of automated features in Midas engine that can be taken advantage of. Then we have optimized design solution in Midas engine, and high quality reports can be generated. There are quantity takeoffs like bill of materials can be generated, as well as in the end we have structural drawings that can be taken out. So we basically start with drawing and complete with the drawing, making Midas engine an all-in-one design system. Let us look into the application area of Midas engine. So Midas engine software solution can be used for simple apartment buildings, small storage structures, building structures, can be used for steel frames, can be used for both combination of steel as well as RC. You can see over here there is a shell type of element that can also be modeled and analyzed in Midas engine. We can see here there are some complex facilities that can be easily modeled and designed in Midas engine. As you can see, there are some drop slabs available that can be modeled in Midas engine using plate beams. Multi-towered structures can also be modeled. Basically, each tower will have its own diaphragm, and that can be modeled in Midas engine. Then informal buildings, as you can see here, there's shell type of element, and the modeling is also quite corrugated. So we can easily model that in Midas engine using automated modeling features. Again, over here, we can see this is a shell member analysis that has been performed of a cooling tower in Midas engine. So not just RC, but also in the field of steel, we can see steel frame design. So optimization is also possible in Midas nGen. So let us go ahead now to the demonstration. I would like to show you how Midas nGen can be utilized easily. So let me go to Midas nGen software solution. If you have, or rather when you have any question, you can just write down at the questions box. Alright, so here we have Midas nGen software solution, and let me firstly introduce you to its user interface. The user interface comprises of the ribbon menu, which is at the top and divided into different tabs. And we can basically go from left to right and finish with the entire modeling, analysis, and design. So you can see here, these are some first 4 tabs for the modeling purpose. Then apply the loading, apply the support condition, perform the analysis and design, and check the analysis and design results. And later on, we can generate reports as well as drawings. So that's about the ribbon menu. Then the shortcuts are also available over here at the top, as well as we can manually specify more shortcuts in these locations. Then further, we have got tree menu. Now our tree menu is divided into 5 parts. So we have got modeling tree menu, which can help us know information about our model. There is analysis tree menu that shows us information about supports, loads, and analysis cases that we have defined. Then there is a design tab. So in the design tab or design tree menu, we can see information of any design parameters that have been applied and design cases generated. We have a display tree menu, which can help us to easily change the color of our screen and also have different viewpoints defined and easily viewed. Then there is a table tree menu that can give us the results information, or basically tables for modeling, loading, and designing and analysis results and so on. So if you would like to go to any table, you can just simply go to the tables tree menu and double click to open the table. Then further at the bottom, we have the properties menu, I would say. In this property menu, like if we click on any member, we can directly get the information of that member over here. And we can modify the property of that member from the properties menu itself. We can see at the bottom over here, multiple models can be opened at the same time. So there is a water tank model that had been earlier performed in one of the Midas nGen webinar sessions. Very easily it was modeled, analyzed, as well as designed. Then also we had seen in earlier webinars how box culvert could be easily modeled in Midas nGen. It's a skewed type of box culvert. So we can access to the different viewpoints by clicking on the second button of our mouse. So it's very easy to go to any view at any point of time wherever our cursor is. So that's about the user interface. Then this was another session that we had seen how a big model or building model was easily modeled in Midas nGen. So today we are going to basically see how to do the modeling using one of the modeling features in Midas nGen, that is the tracing of architectural drawing. So basically in Midas nGen there are various ways in which we can create a model. I would like to just in short explain those different ways. So let me firstly save the model file before I continue. We have autosave feature. Alright, so here one of the modeling feature in Midas nGen is using importing function, wherein we can import MGT file like BIM tools, Revit, Tekla files in Midas nGen. Stat files can be imported, parasolid files, DWG or DXF files can be imported in Midas nGen to create the model file. The second method of modeling is using the tracing file import. So you can trace the architectural drawings in Midas nGen. Then the next method of modeling is using grid lines. So we can start defining grid lines. And unlike our earlier software, that is Midas Gen, in Midas nGen, we can have a 3D type of grid line. So you do not only have grid line for the floor plan, but also you can have the grid line for the upper stories at the same time, and the columns and the shear walls. So we can actually create the entire model, uh, like all the stories at the same time using this 3D grid line. Then further, we can directly start creating our members in Midas nGen using this member tab. And another feature is the body tab, in which it's a simple drawing or sketching is what we call it. So we can sketch our entire model and convert the lines or planes into members. So that's the body type of modeling in Midas nGen software solution. So these are the 4 methods of modeling, and in today's webinar session, I would like to show you how we can do the tracing, which is the fastest feature and most interesting feature in Midas nGen software solution. So I would like to also mention about some differences that we have in our older and newer software solution. The older, that is Midas Gen software solution modeling system, was based on node element. So we had to create nodes and line elements, planar elements, solid elements. Over here in Midas nGen, we have to go with the member-based modeling. So we talk in terms of beams, columns, shear walls, shells, likewise. So the terms are different and the modeling method is also different. So that's number 1 difference between Midas Gen and Midas nGen in case of modeling. So by yourself itself, you can understand now with this demonstration the difference between Midas Gen and Midas nGen. I'll start with the tracing file import. So nGen tracing files. So we have foundation level, 1F level, and 2F second floor level. And I'm providing a scale factor of 0.001 since my drawings are in mm, and right now my model file is in meters. So we can scale down. So once the files have been imported, the architectural files have been imported, we can go for the story definition and start defining a set for the story. So basically, in case of multi-towered structures, we have multiple sets of stories. So right now, I'm just creating one tower, and I'll start with 3 numbers of stories, and they'll have 4 meters height, floor to floor height. And from here also we can modify the floor to floor height, and we can modify actually the floor to floor height at any point of time during the modeling. So right now I'll put up the tracing file data. So we have got the foundation level on the 1F and the 1F level over here, and further we have got second level over there, and this is going to be our roof level. So it will be again the 2F level that we will be taking, but we will be doing some copying of our floor plans as well, just for example how we can do that. All right, so we can create our stories at the beginning. Also we can do create the entire building first and then automatically generate the story data. So we have both the options. So in case of stories, story tracing, tracing, basically we need to create the stories, and the tracing can be done in the story tab. So these are the 3 modeling tabs that we have: 3D, plane, and story. So 3D will be able to access all the three-dimensional members. In plane, only all the members lying in that plane will be accessed, or we can work on them. And story, it is based on that story which we have selected from here. So we can work on that story on that plane itself. So for tracing, we can directly go to the member, and we can start with defining the column members. Now, in Midas nGen, we have an advantage of tracing, which means that all we have to do is select the material property. Now, this is C3037 European code used material property that have been predefined by the program, which we can of course modify at any point of time. So that this is where we can see this is a material property which can be modified. So that's, let's say, C2025/30, and we can see here the modulus of elasticity information, elastic information of our material, and strength for design also we can see right over here. And for damping, for dynamic analysis like response spectrum analysis, we can choose to get or change the damping ratio. Right now by default it is 5% of damping. So C2025 is the material model that I'm going to be using, and further we will be now tracing our columns which we can see from here. So I simply drag around these boxes and the program automatically understands. Of course, it is based on the layers that we have used or selected. So based on the layers, the program is detecting the size of the column, and over here you can see there are some predefined sizes. However, after I click on apply, the program will automatically assign or generate new property having the size of 500 by 500. So that's one thing. We can have many different sizes, and we can see here how the program has generated all the columns. So it's that easy. Simply drag to select all the column and click on apply, and all the columns are generated. Similarly, we can do that for the walls. So here again, there are some thickness properties predefined by the program. So if I delete these properties, and this is just to show you how it is done. Again, when it comes to walls, we have got three types of walls in Midas nGen. In Midas Gen program, we have just two types of walls. So those two types, that is membrane type and plate not mesh type, these are available in Midas Gen. But in addition to that, in Midas nGen, we have plate mesh type of wall element. So basically this plate mesh type of wall element would be really useful when it comes to irregular shape wall structure, and whereas wall plate not meshed and wall membrane would be for the rectangular type of wall elements. So now let me show you how we can go ahead and trace the shear walls. So I'm just going to simply drag around these lines for the shear walls. These are the locations where shear walls are to be created, and the program has detected based on the parallel lines, and we can do it based on the closed lines as well. So I'll just click on apply, and as you can see here, the thickness have been automatically defined by the program and assigned. So you can see that the program is multifunctioning or doing little automated features over here. Now I'll go ahead to the 2F level. So in the 2F level, we can see that there are some grid lines. So using these grid lines, we can create our beams, and we can also generate these slabs over here. So when it comes to slabs, there are different features in which we can create the slab. There is slab using 2 points, that's rectangle. There is by draw and by select. So basically by select option could be used when we have got body type of elements. So body can be imported from DXF file in Midas nGen software solution. Again over here, slab can be of two types. Slab can have in plane as well as out of plane bending, and only in plane bending can be taken for the slab membrane type. So right now I'm going to make use of slab membrane type over here. That's one of the features, and we can start like drawing the slab. So this is actually a flat slab. So I think I should make this into slab plate out in type itself. And using these lines, I'm just going to simply create my entire slab. So basically, I'm going to be like clicking over here to make the entire flat slab in one go. In Midas nGen, or rather in Midas Gen program. Okay, 1 second. And the last point, and let me close this window. This is orthogonal type, that's why it was going straight down. So it's a little similar to AutoCAD. So very easily I'm able to take the pick points from the tracing file that I had. And after that, of course, over here I have got T300 as the thickness property. So I can simply add another thickness property of let's say 0.2 meters, and using the material property of C2025, sorry, and I'll use that one over here. So very conveniently, I'm able to create my entire flat slab. So you can see that it's generated. And on top of that, I know that there are going to be locations where I have beams or I have got openings. So when it comes to beams, we can simply go to the beam and we can click on by select, and we can select actually a line segment from the grid line that we have imported for tracing. So it has got selected right now, and we can select one of the section properties. So I'm selecting 400 by 600 and apply. So here we have got beam that is generated for our particular lift wall or lift well section. And here I would like to create some openings as well. So for creating openings, we have got this opening function. And again, openings can be generated using the periphery beams or periphery body lines, or we can make use of by draw feature. So again, let me go to the top view. So by draw feature, I'm going to simply click on the locations that have been already provided with the help of the tracing drawing file. Same thing I'm going to do on this side. And these openings could be in any form. You can have these openings circular, you can have these rectangular openings, not a problem. So we have got openings over here and we have got slabs as well. So this is one way in which we can create the flat slabs and flat slab structure. Let me go ahead to the tracing of the columns and shear walls at this floor level. So again, I'll be simply making a box around the entire floor plan, and that'll be applied. Next, I'll take the shear wall. So again, for the shear wall, I'm going to be tracing the lines. So here we have got this information, and let's go on to the next floor level, that is 3F level, to create our beams on the upper level. So I'm going to be creating beam of having 400 by 600, material property C25/30, and we will use by select segment. So here I'm going to be simply selecting these lines. So even though in AutoCAD these lines are kind of going completely from one direction to the other direction, like without getting intersected. So even though it is like that in Midas nGen, we can see them intersected. We can select them by intersecting. So I'm not going to be using this one. So I can like select these ones are not going to be of use. So let's click on apply. Sorry, I think those got unselected. So you can see these beams are just getting applied. Also, beams can be created using 2 points. So that's also another feature. Also, we can have our walls to be created using 2 points. Okay, on this floor plan, basically, I do not want all of these columns, so I think I'll be deleting these columns. So I'm simply going to select them and pressing delete from my keyboard. So I'm selecting this one, last one, and okay. So I have got this floor plan. Now in Midas nGen or Midas Gen software solution, we have got this option to either create the slab elements or not create the slab elements. So we have both the options over here. In Midas nGen, let me show you over here. This is the floor plan, typical floor plan for upper stories. So for this case, I can select the slab and I can do the tracing now over here using the beams that I have. So I'm selecting likewise and apply. And these openings can be now easily created by simply selecting these slabs and deleting them. So we can create slabs in this way, or let me go to the 3D type, and we can also choose not to keep any of these slabs. So if I just remove this slab right over here, I'll show you how we can apply the loads if we do not create any slab member at this location. However, if we create slab member at these locations, we can perform the design as well. Alright, now to create multiple number of stories, we can go back to the structure and story definition, and over here we have the options to add new stories. So let's say I want to add 2 more stories and I want such a replication done for the 3F level. Alright, and basically we can see the preview over here of what we are adding. So 2 stories, replicate, and we have 3F level. So this 3F level is like going to be inserted likewise. So we'll click on apply. So as you can see over here, there are more stories that have been created by the program, and we can now simply change the names, and we can change the heights as well. For example, over here I do not want 4 meters as the height. I want to change it to 3.5. So I'm selecting 3.5, let's say 3.5 over here as well, and I'll click on OK. So the height has automatically modified. Alright, so that's about how we can add or delete different types of stories or different stories at different levels. Okay, so that's about one thing. Next we can, okay, one more thing is there. Yeah, this story, this is not required. This story data only can be deleted. Okay, so we have got over here some story sets which I would like to show now. So we have got some display features in which we can just check on this information and we can see the different story levels labeled. So I'll go to the front view for a more clearer view. Different levels can be seen over here. Also, we can generate grid line out of this. So there is structures and then there is ortho grid generator. So we can select our entire structure from here and we can say extract. So after extracting, we can click on OK. So automatically grid lines will be created and we can see the elevation of each grid line from here. So 0, 4, 8, 12, 5, 15.5. Likewise, we can see. So story, let me check. Yeah, the height over here also should be 3.5. And okay, so we can see over here. Okay, that's changing this roof level over here. Completely. So height's been changed. The height of the stories are changed. The grid lines height will be the same. That's why we are not able to see any difference. So let me go to the front view. Yeah, now they are at the same height. So basically grid lines have been extracted from the earlier model and that's why they are at the same level. So if we would like to modify these grid lines, again we can extract them and delete the previous grid line that we had created. Alright, so this is how we have generated the entire building. I'll just undisplay the grid lines, and there are lots of references as well and tracing sets. So we have got different tracing files. So I'll just undisplay those tracing files. So display and undisplay is very easy in Midas nGen. So you just have to just check on, check off. Alright, so here we are done and we are good to go ahead to the next part. So that's about modeling. Let's go to the loading part. In the loading part, we have self-weight. Again, over here in the self-weight, we do not need to create load cases. So we can get automatic load case generated for the self-weight. However, for the live loads and the dead loads, we can, or superimposed dead loads, we can go ahead and create more load cases. So one I'll add for self-weight and another one I'll add for superimposed dead load. Then the live load. In Midas Gen software solution, we had to create the load cases for the wind loads and the seismic loads as well. But here the program can automatically create those. So little by little time is saved by the automated features in Midas nGen software solution. So sulfate I'm applying. We can see that in the analysis tree menu that the sulfate has got applied over here under the dead load, sulfate load case or load set and sulfate. So next I'll go ahead to apply the, yeah, there is pressure load as well. Let's go ahead to the slab loads. So slab loads is there. We have slab load in which we can apply the superimposed dead load and the live load. So superimposed dead load, let's say it's minus 1000 Newton per meter square, and for the live load minus 2500 Newton per meter square. So that's one type. We can add multiple types of slab loads and we can apply them at the same time on the selected slabs. So now it's the time to assign these slab loads. So I'm going to simply select all these slabs. So I can simply select like this all these slabs and I'll click on OK. So all these slabs that we have right now modeled have been assigned with that slab load. No need to select one by one each load case or load set and apply them. At the locations where we have not created the slab, we can generate the floor loads. So floor loads again has got the floor load type wherein we can in this case have the self-weight, since we have not modeled the, so let me make it 3500 Newton per meter square. We have not modeled the slab in this case, so minus 1000 Newton per meter square, and this will be minus 2500 Newton per meter square, and I'll add it and close. So now is the time to assign these floor loads. So again we have got this two-way or one-way type of load. Again the slab loads by default are two-way type. We can modify them as one-way type, so I'll show you that one as well. So in case of two-way load, we can have sub-beams, but I'm not considering those as such. And now we can simply go ahead to add. So adding is very easy. We can simply go ahead to select the edges in this way and apply. So it's that easy. So we can go to different planes to do that. So floor load, add over here. The program automatically detects the beams that are adjacent to it. And again, I'll be going for the floor load over here. So need to add them over here like this, in this way. Then further for this case, as well as this case. So all the three areas are selected and two-way type of loading is there, and then we can click on OK. So in this way the floor loads have got applied, and we can see that the floor loads have been applied for the self-fade, for the superimposed dead loads, as well as for the live loads. Okay, so that's how we have applied the loading, floor loads and slab loads. Now let's see the automated feature, that is the wind load function. So wind load we have as per the European standard as well as British standard BS 6399. So since you're shifting to Eurocodes, I'll be showing or demonstrating the Eurocode information. So over here, let me begin with the assignment first, assign wind loads, wherein we can choose that our structure is a storied building, and then we can choose to apply at the X and Y direction at the same time. The eccentricities we can choose to keep none or positive or negative, and further the design wind loads. So I'll add the design wind load for Eurocode, and average roof height is automatically taken by the program. Terrain category, orographic effects, we can just simply expand and provide that information over there. Then rising of displacement height, if any. Then structural factors, this again can be automatically calculated by the program if you have the natural frequency of the structure. I'll keep it as 1. And before that, we can also generate a report, a Word file report of the calculated wind loads. So it's not a black box, we can actually understand how the calculation is done. So you can see here there is another difference between Gen and nGen. In Midas Gen program, a text file report is generated, whereas in Midas nGen, a Word file report is generated. It's a little bit more sophisticated here. So I'll click on OK, and we can see the profile as well over here before applying, story forces and all, and we can click on apply. So in this way the wind loads have got applied. So similarly, I'll go ahead to the static seismic load. So story based static seismic loads, again we can select none and move ahead to creating the design function. So again, all the parameters will be automatically or what we can provide, and also calculation of the approximate period can be done. Report again over here can also be generated for our seismic load calculations in the Word file report format. And at the same time, we can apply the earthquake in the X and Y direction. So major and ortho at the same time. So that's what has been applied. And as you can see here, the load sets also have got automatically created. So let's go ahead now to the boundary conditions and apply the supports to our building. So I'll go to the front view and I'll select the bottommost nodes of the foundation level, and I'll click on apply. So our foundation or our support conditions have got applied, loads are applied, and now we can go ahead for the analysis. So in the analysis, we can actually take control of the meshing that can be performed for the slabs which are irregular. So then there is analysis settings over here, wherein we can take care of the mesh size of our 2D and 1D elements. Meshing can also be controlled by us. Next part is about the load combinations, which can be automatically generated as per the Eurocode, or we also have got British standards available for performing the analysis and design. So there is Eurocode, which I'm going to be using in today's session. So here we have got auto generation feature, wherein the fundamental, accidental, seismic, characteristic, fundamental, frequent and quasi-permanent type of strength and serviceability load combinations would be automatically generated. Along with that, the envelopes are automatically generated by the program. So that's fundamental and seismic, that is available. Characteristic for serviceability check, frequent and quasi-permanent type of load combinations are automatically generated. Now we can go ahead to perform the analysis. In Midas Gen program, that is the older general software solution that we have, in there we could only perform one analysis at one time. But over here in Midas nGen, we can create as many number of analysis cases as we want. And in each analysis case, we can choose to include or exclude any part of the structure, any support condition, or any loading condition. So that's what we have as a very big advantage in Midas nGen software solution. So I'm creating right now one analysis case which includes everything, and I'll click on OK and go ahead to perform the analysis. We can choose if we want to run one analysis or we want to choose all the analysis at the same time. Okay, we are back over here. Pardon for the change in, or sorry, technical issues over here. The computer got shut down. Okay, so let me begin. Okay, due to technical issues, the project was not saved. So I would take actually long time to, right now assign everything again, define and assign everything. So I'll be right now moving to another model file. So this is another model file that we have over here, and we will be using this for checking out the design analysis and design results and the report generation. All right, so let's move ahead to the analysis part. So let me check in this model if case has been already created. So we can see from here there is analysis case already created. So let's solve this analysis case. There is modal analysis also that has been available over here or applied over here, eigenvalue analysis basically. So over here we can see in this message window if the analysis is getting any errors or warnings, and in the end another dialog box will come up so that we can get or we can understand what kind of error is being put up. The analysis speed of Midas Gen and Midas nGen is the same. We have 64-bit solver speed and GPU accelerator to quickly finish the analysis. Alright, so the analysis is completed, and now we can check out the analysis results in the results tab right over here. So we have this results tree menu as well. Analysis results can be seen over here for different static load cases, and load combinations are also generated. So we can see the results for different load combinations like deformations. So this is the deformation, and from here we can check on the deformed shape to see the deformation of our deformed structure. Let me undisplay the grids for a better view, and we can also look at the value. Absolute max value will be shown over here. We can change the unit system at any point of time. Right now it's in meters. We can change it to mm. So 0.91 mm is the deflection or displacement value. This is for first load combination. We can see over here there are various load combinations and envelopes from which we can select and look at the result. Further, we can see over here there is a legend. So in this legend, if you closely see, which we can move anywhere anyway, so basically we can see that how much percentage of the structure is lying in this value of displacement. So we can get an idea, overall idea. So that's about the analysis results, deformed shapes, reactions. So these are the vertical reactions. Again, instead of absolute max value, we can see all the values on the screen. We can also look at the applied forces on the structure and beam forces, that is actual force diagram for columns, and in case of beams, we can go for the beams and columns, we can go for the bending moment diagrams. Let me display the deformed shape and a lot of values on the screen. If you would like to look at the results for one plane at one time, then we can just simply choose to activate one plane. But for that, basically, we need to define a plane at the beginning. We can go for the story option in that case. So stories are there, and we can choose to see only the upper entities or lower entities. So let me go to 2F or 3F level. So this is like lower entities that we can see at the same time and upper entities at the same time. So that's about the bending moment diagram, or basically the diagrams for the line type of elements. Then further, for the walls, the shear walls, we can look at the actual forces. So let me go to the 3D and we can see the entire structure, the shear wall result for the entire structure, and values can be seen at the top and bottom of every shear wall. So that's about the different results. Also, we can see here the wall forces and stresses, beam stresses and plate stresses. So let's move ahead now for the designing part. In the design part, we can see here the design settings, which can help us to set up the code, the standard. We can set up the reinforced concrete factors, and we can set up the rebars, because Midas nGen or Midas N, both softwares can provide us not only the area of reinforcement but also the arrangement of the reinforcement. So we can select over here which standard we want to select, of which the rebars are going to be, and the grade for the rebars. The rebar arrangements also can be set up from here, which diameters of bars you would like to use and what kind of spacings are to be utilized for the stirrups, as well as in case of slab drawings, not just drawings, but the slab analysis, design results. Checking control is available over here that can help us to provide a target ratio for the design. So right now the target ratio is kept as 1, but we can change it to 0.9 if we do not want to make it too close to 1. And yeah, so that's one part. Then further, we can also check the economy of the structure, and that is with the help of criteria for strength status. So from here we can see this OK. OK means that the demand capacity ratio is above a minimum value of, let's say, 0.6 and below a maximum value of 0.9. So if most of my members are coming under this OK status, then my structure is economical. If it is basically need check, then it is highly uneconomical. The demand capacity ratios are going below 0.6. Then critical is above zero point 0.9 but below 1, so it's a critical thing. It may cause failure. And further, there is NG, which causes failure, not good, that is demand capacity ratio is above 1. And then there is failure, in which the demand capacity is really high, and we need to actually modify the section property. The section property is not accurate enough for that member. And not check is wherein maybe that particular element or member is not used for performing the design. So that maybe group is not selected for performing design. So that's about the design settings. Combinations again are automatically generated as per Eurocode. We can also use British standards. Design groups are very much essential so that the drawings are generated. So let's see here if we have got some design groups already generated in this. So we have got beam design group and all. So let me recreate these design groups. So we have got design group in which there is option to automatically generate the design group. We have auto select, as in the program will automatically select the entire all the members, and it can perform the groups based on the level of detailing. So there is 1, 2, 3 numbers of detailing, and we can further go ahead. Also, automatic groups will be set and change the names, the RC beam name, so we can call it B, and sub beam name, so we can call this as SB likewise. And further the column C, and further for the slab naming rules, S is there. So we can set all these things up and simply click on OK. So the program is now going to define all the groups automatically. We can see those over here, and depending on these groups, the drawings will be generated. So right now, let me go ahead and run the design case with automatic rebar arrangement. If you would like, we can modify this auto rebar arrangement from here as well. So depending on these diameters, minimum, maximum diameters, and the spacings, the program will provide us with the design result. So by the default design parameters that are given, or design criteria that has been given in the program, the design is taking place. So let's see that. The design is completed, and now with one glance we can understand how economic our structure is. So most of our members are in OK field, and this means that all the beams, all the columns, all the slabs are passing, and they are within the limit, target ratio limit. We can see there is some part which is critical. So it's like going above 0.9, but it is still passing because the ratio is coming to 1 or below that. So that's the result we have. Now let's look at the design results. So let's see, for this beam right over here, we can check out the design report, detailed design report that is generated by the program. So I selected a beam, I'll select one slab, and I'll select one column as well. And let's go ahead and check out the design result. Of course, wall is also there. Sorry, I forgot to, select that one. But the idea is to understand how the detailed report is generated by the program. In Midas Gen program, this detailed report is generated in text file. In Midas nGen, it is directly in the Word file. So it's pretty sophisticated. We can see over here again addition of images of the arrangement that Midas Gen text file lacks. So we have included that as well in Midas nGen software solution. We can see here detailed calculation, all the formulae as per the standard, and we can see here there are references as well given by the program. So there is need check, okay, such kind of status provided by the program directly. All the equation references are provided over here. So that's about the beam, and similarly in the same Word file report we can get the result for the columns. Let me just move ahead. Yeah, so this is now for the column, and in case of column we can get the PM interaction curve as well. So slenderness ratio is checked, and if slender, then additional moments are added. Even we can see that there is stress check done by the program for beams as well as for the columns. Long-term stress check is also done. Long-term deflection check and stress check is done. Now this is the design for the slab. So slab design is also available in Midas nGen software solution. This is based on the conventional design method. In Midas Gen program, we have designed based on wood armor moments. So that is based on finite element results, and this is based on conventional results, conventional design method. So that's about the detailed design report generated by Midas nGen software solution for RC beam, column, and slabs. And we can also see at the same time for the wall element. So I'll just quickly get to a summary of the wall element right now. And of course, the detailed design report is the way we saw earlier for the before members. So these are the end rebars that have been provided. And this is just a half image of our wall, and this is the beam interaction curve, so we can get some more summary of the wall design. So that's about the design report generated by the program. Now let's move ahead for more reports that can be generated. But before going there, I would like to also mention that the program is able to provide us the reports or the reinforcements in the form of tables as well. So if you would like to check the rebar information in the form of table, then we have some options over here, like there is RC section. So we can see here there is beam, column, walls, slabs. So we can see in the form of table over here what is the reinforcement applied. And in this dialog box itself, we can choose to modify the section's shape. We can modify the diameter of bar, and we can ask the program to further check the design with the given reinforcement. So you can probably increase the number of reinforcement, and you can see it's become dark or bold in color. And now you can further go ahead and redesign for the checklist. So now it has redesigned and it is giving us the result as okay, and this is the ratio. It's actually smaller than 0.84 now, but it's approximate or rounded off value that we can see over here. So similarly, when it comes to columns, we can do the modification of the columns, of column reinforcements. So here we have modify option, and by looking at this image itself, we can choose like how many numbers of rebars and what should be the diameter of the rebar, and number of layers of the rebars also we can choose. So you can have 2 numbers of layers as well. In Midas Gen software solution, we had a choice of only 1 layer for the columns, but in Midas nGen we have more than 1 layer. So these are some of the design advantages that we can get in Midas nGen software solution as compared to Midas Gen software solution. All right, so let's move ahead to more reports that can be generated by the program. So here we have got a dynamic report generator in Midas nGen. This is a little different than Midas Gen software solution. It is a little bit more sophisticated. So let me make a new file over here. So this is the report maker in Midas nGen software solution. So basically what we can do in this case is we need to link our Midas report maker with Midas nGen, and then we can move to create the report. So right now over here the link is done. Alright, so how to create this report is simple. We just have to drag and drop the items from this item list and put it in the report board, and we can generate different like we can generate chapters over here and sub chapters or subtitles, and so we can put over here table of contents and chapters and so on. So that's what we can do, and further we can also specify what type of uh, images or tables should be included over here. So here we can say add a chapter, and we can name this chapter as well. So there's a name, so we can call it as, let's say, RC member list likewise, and it will get updated, and then we can simply drag and drop these RC slab list over here, and then the beam and girder list, and further the column list over here, and the wall list. This is general. We can make it story by story. And if you have also put in your foundation in Midas nGen, that is also possible. So then further modeling, so analysis modeling, you can specify. So let me make another chapter. So we can have add chapter over here, and we can name it as modeling. And in this modeling, we can just drag and drop the information for the analysis model, and we can specify the load case list. These are basically some important type of information for our project that we use. So it's more practical in Midas nGen software solution. Then the lateral load data, so we can specify over here another chapter with the loading conditions. So I'll just delete this one and add a chapter. So we can call it as loading, and we can provide over here gravitational and lateral load information. So we have wind load reports that we have seen earlier. So let's look at the profiles itself. So story shear profiles, that could be much easier and easier to put over here. Then further, we had also applied some loads like the dead loads, live loads. So we can just drag and drop that information over here. So that's about the loading. Then the support condition. So again, another chapter for the support. Sorry, chapter name, support, supports. That's what I'll call it. And in this supports, I'll add up the support condition. That was the fixed support condition that I'd applied. And let's look at the design results now. So we have got the concrete design results. So we can actually specify the total design result over here directly. So let me add a chapter, and I'll directly go for the design result. And here total RC design. So basically we can simply go ahead, drag and drop. We can add up images as we wish, tables as we wish. From here, let's see the picture layout, change picture layout, and so on. Everything can be set over here at once. So now let me go ahead and generate the report. So this report maker generates the entire project report. As you can see here, the initial image is automatically taken by the program. Then we can see the table of contents over here. So what all chapters we are having in this project report is automatically done by the program. And the RC member list. Then further we can see here some more information on the loading, modeling, so the analysis model that we have, and the load cases and the load combinations and the loads that have been applied. So based on the story by story, the loads have been applied. Support condition. So image format as well as table format of report has been generated. And again, coming to the design, we can see this is a total design result that the program has provided. So basically over here, you can see if it's okay, critical, or not good, or failing, likewise. So it becomes much easier to give a brief project report as well as a detailed project report. And this project report can be further saved as a Word file. So, sorry, we have to export it as a Word file, Word document, and it can be exported likewise at any given location. The good part about the report generators in Midas Gen as well as Midas nGen is that if we make any change in our model, in our analysis model, run the analysis, run the design, and then we can simply regenerate the entire project report with just one click. So let me show that basically what we can do is interlinked with each other. So if I just delete this column right over here, let me go in the pre-processing mode and delete this column. All right, and after that we simply go to run all, design, rebar arrangements and everything. So everything is right now modified. All the analysis results, all the design results will be modified. Reanalysis will take place and redesign will also take place. So right now it's like in continuation. In Midas Gen program, we had to firstly perform the analysis, then again go to the design tab to run the design. Here in one click, we could run the analysis as well as design. So it's very fast and very convenient. So the analysis and design has been completed. Now we can go back to the report maker and we can like refresh over here, and further we can uh, check update the entire data and regenerate the entire project report. So now you can see here one of the columns is gone. The entire report is again modified likewise. So it's just by one click, the entire project report will be automatically modified. You can also put in over here your paragraphs wherein you have your own information. So that's about the report maker. Let me show you about the drawings that are generated in Midas nGen now. So I'll be using Midas drawing over here, which comes along with Midas nGen software solution. The Midas drawing actually has recently got really updated very well with addition of longitudinal reinforcements for beams and columns as well as for slabs. So let me go ahead to generate firstly the structural plans. So the program right now at the beginning will generate all the drawings required for this entire building model. Sorry, the time taken right now in the webinar is a little bit more than 1 hour, but I'm really determined to show you about how the reports are generated in Midas nGen software solution, so that you can have a good benefit out of it and also take advantage of this really good software solution. So our softwares do get updated twice every year. So okay, so let me show you the drawings now. So this is a column layout. So basically giving us information for all the columns at the basement level. And all we have to do is simply select different floor plans that we would like to generate the drawings of. So have one for the basement, one of the typical floor plan, and I'll click on OK. So two of the floor plans will be generated. I can space them likewise. So this is the foundation level framing plan. At 0, 0 level, all the columns and shear wall are shown, as well as we can see the section properties and the wall thicknesses. So this is the third level, or sorry, 2F level that we have at 6.5 meters level. We can see the beams, we can see columns, we can see the grid lines, and we can see section properties for every grouped member. So this is how the sophistication of these structural plans is given. These settings of font sizes, of all the marks and colors, everything can be done, settings of structural drawing. And once these settings are done, you do not need to modify them again for your future projects. So instead of starting from scratch, you can just directly go ahead and generate the drawings. So that's about the structural plan. And I'll go ahead to the next part, that is generate rebar arrangement. So we have got longitudinal rebar arrangement for beams and for columns as well. So I'll just show you one drawing of each just to get an idea. And we can do the settings of all the development lengths, as well as we can do the setting for the hook sizes and the splicing. Everything can be set beforehand itself before generating the drawings. And after that, you can see that the program will show the drawings generated. It will specify the diameter of bar and the spacings, and it will show a sectional view as well. So that's longitudinal reinforcement for the columns. And over here, we can see the levels also specified. And further, we can see here, this is for the beams. Sorry, this is for the columns itself. Let me go for the beams by going to the generate rebar beams, check on, and then click on OK. Okay, so just put it over here. So this is the beam drawings, longitudinal reinforcement. The length is also specified over here. The number of rebars and the diameter of bar is specified. So this is for the bottom, and for the top reinforcements is what we can get. And we can actually see over here there's a key plan. It's pretty sophisticated, like we can see which beam the program is actually, or the drawing is actually talking about. So it is marking it actually and showing it. So that's a good part. And also we can see there is rebar shapes or bar quantity table, or a beam rebar schedule is also given by the program. The shape is given, and the rebar lengths are given, the diameter in the form of tables. So I think most of our work is completely taken care of by Midas nGen or Midas drawing software solution. And it's not just it, we can also make sections and elevations out of the plans that we have generated. There is structural section option over here. I'll give it a name as section 1, and I'll press enter. Then I can specify through the specify a section cut over here. So for example, I'm making a section cut from here to here, and I'll press spacebar, and I want to look at this side. So I'll just specify like this, and there we go. We have got our section generated by the program. So this is a section that has been generated. We can see there is column and beam sections, and the levels are there. And at the same time, this section 1, or the section 1 is what we will see in the structural plan itself. Section 1. So actually, once we get the hang of how to use these software solutions, it will be a matter of minutes to finish the entire project along with the drawings. So let me go back to Midas nGen software solutions. So that's Midas nGen for us. Lastly, last but not the least, I would like to show another software solution, that is Midas Design Plus, which is a structural component solution. And as per Eurocodes, there are several components that we can perform design of, as well as we can generate the drawings. One more thing I would like to show in Midas drawing is that these drawings can be saved into a DWG file, exported into a DWG file, which we can further use to make changes or do additions or give it to the draftsman. And second part is about the bill of material. So Midas nGen is also capable of providing or generating the bill of material. So we can choose what all information we would like to get, and the program will automatically generate an Excel sheet. So while the Excel sheet is being generated, let me go to the Design Plus software solution and show you what all structural components are available for performing the design. So let me change the code. This is American Standard. As per American Standard, there are many structural components available. However, when it comes to Eurocodes, we have got few of these sections. As you can see, slab can be like FRB type of retrofitting of slab can be done. Retrofitting of beams and separate beam design, retrofitting of columns and irregular columns can be done. Combined shear walls can be designed. Footings, isolated as well as strip footings, can be designed. When it comes to steel, let me change the code to Eurocode. So when it comes to steel, there is steel beam, steel column design. As we have base plate design as well. Bolt connection and moment bolt connection design is also available. Alright, so let me give you a small example of isolated footing in Midas nGen, Midas Design Plus software solution. So here we can simply specify, okay, let me get to the Excel sheet. Okay, so let me finish firstly with the member. The design is basically we can change this unit system to SI unit system. Midas Design Plus software solution is very easy to use. All we have to do is specify over here the data. So right now I'll just give a preliminary like example information for performing the design or values. Surcharge loading can be applied, and the height of the footing below the ground level can be specified in meters. We can have isolated mat or we can have isolated pile footing design as well, performed in Midas Design Plus. And eccentricities can also be applied. So let me give an example for isolated mat, and that can show the eccentricities very easily. You can see dynamically how the eccentricity is getting applied, so in the X as well as in the Y direction. So eccentric footing design can also be performed, and you can specify over here the soil bearing capacity. So I'll provide 300 over here, and the footing size can be mentioned, and we can just simply perform the design, wherein the program will automatically specify the diameter of bar and the spacings. This diameter of bar right now is in ASTM standard. We can just change it to BSEN, and the footings can be from P12 to P20 likewise, and apply. And we can perform the design again. So P20 is not good enough for our footing, so maybe we can just have P20 25 and we can check. So no, not that, 25, check. So it's okay now. P25 all overall is good enough, but still there is some failure in the soil bearing capacity in the one-way shear as well as two-way shear. So maybe increasing the size of the footing or the depth of the footing would be beneficial. So let's say the footing size is 900 mm, and we can check it. So it's passing for the two-way shear, but still one-way shear is failing. So if I change the lengths and all, so we can go on modifying and we can go on checking. One-way shear is now passing, and similarly we can go on modifying further for passing all the check limits. So over here we can see the information of the design calculated by the program, design calculations done by the program, and we can get a Word file also generated for the report for this particular footing design. Midas Design Plus is also capable of generating the drawings, and we can save those drawings into DWG or DXF files. Let me get you back to the report, the Excel sheet report generated by Midas and Midas drawing, actually, the bill of material sheet. So here we have the bill of material sheet for every member group, and the section property, unit length, quantity, length is given, concrete in meter cube, volume in meter cube, rebars in ton, and we can also see the formwork in area, so meter square. So we can get all this information for separate types of members, separately for beams, separately for columns, slabs, and walls. And in the end we can get a summary which can be further used to get the ratios to help us understand what would be the basic quantity of our entire structure. All right, so a report has been generated by Midas Design Plus for the footing design. So we can see over here, this is the drawing that has been generated, and we can see all the formulae that have been used by the program for performing the checks. So moment capacity check and shear capacity check, one way as well as two-way shear check is performed by the program. And let us look at the drawing that is generated by the program by Midas Design Plus software solution. So this is the drawing generated by Midas Design Plus. So this is the eccentric footing. We can see what is the diameter of bar that it is suggesting and the spacings and the length and depth of our footing. Also, we can see this cross-sectional view of our footing. So that's about the footing design. Similarly, we have other types of designs which I mentioned earlier, and the program is also able to provide us with a quantity. So I'll create the quantity over here. Again, concrete volume in meter cube, rebars in kilonewton, which we can again modify to tons. So we can make it tonf. So meter cube, and this is tonf. This is quantity per unit length, and this is quantity per unit area of the footing, and the total required, which can be again exported to Excel sheets and can be utilized further. So let me get back to our presentation now. So I'll get back to our presentation, and we will have the summary of what all things we have seen in the demonstration. So let's go through a summary of the strengths of Midas nGen software solution over Midas Gen. We have several automated features as compared to Midas Gen software solution. So one of the feature was the tracing file feature, in which we could simply create the section properties as well as the members directly using the architectural drawings. So that's one of the feature that we have seen. Another feature is by using sweeping tools and auto mesh feature. There are Boolean cut tools as well that are available. So complicated models can be easily done in Midas nGen software solution. So we can see here, this is how easily we could mesh, and we can also remesh the model by changing the size. So it's very convenient. No need to delete the mesh and remesh it. Just directly change the size and perform. Then in the automation, again, over here, we have got wind load application for enclosed structures as well as open structures, and for machine structures in addition to building type of structures in Midas nGen software solution. And we have Eurocode as well as British Standard BS 6399 for wind load application. Seismic load is also available. Eurocode is available in Midas nGen software solution. We'll come to the optimization. So as compared to Midas Gen software, we have plate beam type of element or member in Midas nGen, which can help us to do drop slabs. And we can see over here how the program can perform the design of a plate beam and also generate drawings. Optimization, well, Midas Gen also has optimized design. However, Midas nGen is one step ahead of Midas Gen. In optimization, firstly, the design is available as per Eurocode and British Standard for steel as well as for RC. When it comes to optimization, we have optimization in case of RC structures as well. So the program is going to be placing rebars in optimized way. And further, it is going to calculate the minimum reinforcement ratio for the most unfavorable member for each member group, calculate reinforcement in reference to the bars placement range settings by the section sizes that we have provided, and then it will perform various checks. Next is the high quality design report results that can be generated by the program. So we can see here the program provides a Word file summary as well as detailed report of the design that has been generated for every member. So in Midas nGen, as compared to Midas Gen, we have first of all a Word file design report, and secondly, we have additional designs. That is, we have designed for irregular wall, we have designed for slab, conventional slabs, we have designed for foundations, conventional foundation design, and there are stress checks and displacement checks available for slabs, beams, and yeah, that's stress check is for columns as well. So that is in addition to what Midas Gen gives in Midas nGen. So very sophisticated design reports available with reference to the codes with sub-clause numbers. And we have also seen how a dynamic report maker is available in Midas nGen software solution. Drawings also can be generated very easily and more in detail in Midas drawing from Midas nGen. And this is what we had seen actually, how the reports are made in Midas report maker. So I'll just go ahead with that. All right, so lastly, I would like to talk about the Midas support service that has been provided. So Midas support provides videos which you can follow, step-by-step videos. And we are also available online. We are available by email, so you can get to us at any point of time. So I'd like to conclude our session with the benefits of fast design and high design quality and on-time design constructions with automated, integrated, and optimized features. All right, thank you very much for attending our webinar session, and I'd like to go through your questions right now. So I'm sorry the time is actually going too much ahead because there's so much to show in Midas nGen software solution. There's so many benefits that we have added on. So